A-Town.
Come on in. Have a seat. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe and get notified. Welcome back to another episode, Have You Met Me? An episode where real conversations meet real life. Every story comes with a lesson, laughter, a little bit of motivation to help us keep pushing forward. But today we're going to invite a special guest, Rico. We are talking about life, growth, experiences, mindsets, things we don't always see behind the scenes. You already know we are going to keep it real, authentic, unfiltered, and relatable. So whether you're driving, working, cooking, chilling at home, hiding from your responsibilities, thank you for taking the moment to join me today. So, Rico, I'm going to ask the hard questions. And in those hard questions, I really want the brutal, honest truth, you know. And then we're going to get raw and real, and we're going to have a brief discussion on dating in 2026. That's my mission. I am going to eventually open up the forum where I'm actually going to take live calls and all those. But before we get started with that, the question I have is, Rico, what was your impression of me when you first met me?
When I first met you, I could sense somebody who had more inside her than she was being utilized for. And that's a gift God gave me. I can always see great potential in people, but I didn't really share that with you. We talked about some smaller things and some other things. And from the conversation that we had, I knew you was built to go to another level. I just didn't know that I would be a contributing, a contributing factor to that push into that direction until we swung back around a few months or a few years later, and you told me you had catapulted yourself to the next level.
So, just so you guys know, I think it was back in 2014 when I was acting property manager for a small property, and I needed a temp lead. And next thing you know, they send in this dark chocolate handsome man, and I was in a relationship at the time. I'm telling you, if I wasn't, I can say that. It would have been, I think me and you would have a different story today. But at the end of the day, I remember, I think the one thing that stuck out was, you said, "Do you want that seat?" And if you want that seat, you need to know that it comes with great responsibilities. And yes, I believe you can do it. But do you want this seat or do you want to get another seat? And then, just like a thief in the night, you were gone. You went on to your next assignment, man. You really did. So what made you, I guess when I reached back out to you for the property that I was at, it was a bigger property, triple the size, you remember? What made you actually take the assignment? Because I called.
Because one of the things that I've shared along the path of my journey when I'm going to different properties is the very first thing that's important to me is fellowship, team, family. I'm not really putting a financial tag on my mission. I'm really putting how do we work together? Because in this industry, that's everything. It's nothing worse than going to work with people that are stressing you out. I just don't do that. I'm not even in that position. And this occupation isn't my bread and butter. This is more of my fun money. My real ambition, my real purpose, and my real drive is outside of that job. So that meeting that we had, I knew. I can't explain it, but I have been walking this path for so long that it's like second nature. I knew I could work with her. And as you have seen through the years we have worked together, our team spirit is infectious. We pull people in. We have the same type of spirit and same type of mind. You know what I mean? So it's
Yes.
proven itself. So when you call me, I was like, yeah, I want to work with this young lady because she has the same type of spirit that I have, and I don't want to be trying to. You can't teach it.
Yeah.
You have that thing. You know what I mean?
And so with that, did you was there ever a moment that give me a moment that sticks out that I either made an impression, um, did something for you positively, um, taught you something, maybe you learned something from me, or what was that? Is there a particular moment that sticks out that you're saying that you felt it from uh, that small property. I don't want to name properties. And then when I brought you over to this one, so was there a moment that you watched, observed, and you're like, this woman has this, and this woman is this way, and this is why I'm sticking by her side?
Yes, that is such a powerful question. Let me tell you why. This is something I don't even think I've ever told you. When that year that we met, I was learning something. God can use you when you least expect it. Your gift is being used. Sometimes you don't know it's a gift, and sometimes you don't know you even have a gift. You're operating in it and don't even know it. So, for about a year or so, I had been paying attention and saying, there's a purpose, there's a reason why he's positioning me. The Bible says the footsteps of a righteous man is ordered. And so by the time I got to you in my head, I was saying before I met anybody, I'm here for a purpose. I don't know if it's for somebody to tell me something or for me to tell somebody something. So me and you had this moment where we was in the shop and we were politicking about the ins and out about the business. And when I was speaking to you, he was using me and I kind of tapped into that moment. I was like, listen to what you're saying to her. And the look on your face was like you was absorbing what I was saying and then you needed to hear. And it shocks me every time because it's so natural. The conversation that I'm having, it's not pre-recorded. It wasn't something I thought of, but it was so natural. It was impacting me. And it was kind of like, I was like, this is the moment. So I didn't really think much about it, but I noticed that that moment I was saying something to you, it was having an impact on you. But here's what you don't know. Years later, when we swung back around, you said to me, you changed my life. There's been several times in my life where I've heard that. The reason you impacted my life, because I never said to you, you changed my life, because I needed to hear that. You pushed me to another level. You pushed me to a place where I said, don't ever be silent. Speak from your heart. Because
Mm.
this is what happens in the middle of your journey when you don't know what that next day is going to bring. You don't know who God is going to put in your path. You don't know when somebody's going to need to hear that message from you, whatever it is. That little seed that's in you, that water that you pouring out is powerful to somebody else. And so it put a level of responsibility on me that I absorbed and I took and I embraced it even more. But I hearing it from you, I'm sorry.
No, I didn't say nothing.
Yeah, hearing it from you stirred something up in me as much as it stirred something up in me. It put a demand on my spirit and a call on me to where I'm very focused and locked in when I'm in the presence of people. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
to know when to speak and to know when not to speak, and to trust when I am that it's something in that moment that they need to hear. So say it.
Well, that's very uplifting and encouraging. Um, I have said this a million and one times. People tease me about my little TikToks. Smile at somebody because you never know, right? People,
Hmm.
and I'm a true believer. God puts people in your path for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I think after so many trials and tribulations that we endured, I realized you were a lifetime. With that being said, now I have the hard question. What Was there ever a time that I disappointed you or I upset you?
Wow. We just gonna go there.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to know. Yes, sir. We're going there.
Well, there was a time when we were in the office and I had referred my ex, and I was sitting at my desk, and I could tell she was everything that this place needed. My recommendations come high. Like I know I'm not going to put myself out there. I don't even recommend people, but I said, this is what this company needs. And once, I can't remember her name, she found out that she had any relationship towards me. She
Yes.
was like, I don't want her now. I
Yeah.
was sitting at the desk and I was hearing a conversation, and I could see them pushing you in a position where you had to go along with it. And I wanted you to fight more. But I said to myself, I was like, it's too brand new for that. She's just getting here too. So I kind of excused it. I wanted you to fight a little more. And I was just like, no, she can't. Something said, no, she can't in this situation. And then I said to myself, it's probably better. It's probably better. And it turned out to be right. I was so, after I had been there maybe 3 or 4 months, I was like, oh my God, thank God.
Yeah.
She would have hated me if she would.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
was like, I'm
I,
so glad it didn't happen.
I'm actually shocked that that's your answer. Because I really thought you were going to say something else. You want to know what I was
No, yeah, I'm shocked to hear this is something different.
thinking? Parque Ventana. And I called the whole damn, I said the the property, I didn't mean to. Anyways, it is what
All
it
them
is.
out.
Um, I called a staff meeting and I I told y'all I was gonna pack up and I was gonna follow this guy across country. And you were just like, don't you do that. And I did it anyway. I thought you were gonna say that moment. Um, because by then you had already saw the tears and wiped the tears and all the stuff, and you're like, so why are you picking up and going across country? I thought you were going to say that moment of one of my
You know why I didn't?
yes, why?
The reason why I didn't is because that journey is so sensitive for everybody. Everybody's made that choice once or twice or three times in their life where they've chosen the wrong vessel to have a journey with. And I knew you needed. It wasn't nothing. I know when it ain't no need of me I don't really try to convince people. If I give you my opinion, you take it or leave it. I believe what the Bible says. You go out, give your message, they receive it, they receive it. They don't, turn around, walk away. You've done your job. So I feel like I did my job, but not heeding to my warning or to my advice. I don't, I don't castrate anybody for not listening to me. My job is just to say it. I don't have the time to listen to God. So why would I judge anybody for that? So I knew you needed to discover whether that was the right choice or not. My dad, I faced that moment with him before I got married. I asked him, should I do this? You know what he said? He said, no. I said, Dad, do I have to do this? He said, no, you don't have to do this. I really need to hear that. And I believed him. And then I looked him in his eyes and I said, Dad, I got to see for myself. I wish to God I had listened to him. He didn't get upset with me. He
Hmm.
was just, and he allowed me to take my journey and go in the direction I wanted to go in. He never judged me for it. He never spoke. So I say all that to say that's the reason why I didn't use it. I knew you were going, and I probably said if I was in that situation, I probably maybe I would have too. And I've made some decisions similar.
Yeah, I needed I was just so tired of this freaking city, and I just wanted something entirely different. But how I knew that that was the probably the worst decision that and going against the grain is because it was never right. From the moment we left this city and we started traveling up there, it was bickering and fighting and it was animosity and fighting and fighting and fight. All we fought the whole way there. We fought when we got there. The fight never stopped until I was just sick and tired of fighting and I was just like, I'm done. And I came back. You know what I mean? But it was an experience. I did get to learn some things and I got to see, a different side of the world being up in uh, the DMV, Washington and Maryland and all those things. Nor will I ever recommend that thing to anybody, you know what I mean? Um,
Hmm.
Coming back to San Antonio was effortlessly. And before I was on the plane, before I landed, I had a job and all the things. And I picked up the phone once again, and guess what? Who do I call? I call you. You have always been, to give someone this title, it's very deep. My saving grace. Even when I was out there in Maryland. I know you remember. I had
Oh
just
yeah,
let I was in a parking lot and I'm crying hysterically and faithfully, you answer the phone. You're like, "Girl, where are you at?" And I'm like, "I'm in the car and I'm crying." You're like, "Oh my god!" And you stayed on the phone with me for hours, just making sure
yeah.
that I was okay and encouraging. That's the kind of love that a lot of people don't understand, and a lot of people say, "Well, I find it hard to believe that you and Rico never like hooked up," and that is not required. And people that's ignorance, right? Like when I brought you back and I recommended you to be my lead at the new build, they were just like, "Have you and Rico?" And I was like, "Just because we're black doesn't mean we've been together." Like it was that get rid of the stereotype kind of thing, you know what I mean? Um, Even though it was heartbreaking to leave that and go to the new assignment that I have, I just, you hear a lot of people saying keep in touch and stuff like that. I that's one thing I love about our relationship. We don't have to be working together. You remember Brandon, he called us husband and wife. You were my work husband and I was your work wife and a lot of people and didn't it seem like, especially at that last gig, right? Like we were mom and dad and you had the kids that played outside and I had the kids inside and then we came together.
Yeah, but I don't know if you remember the birth of it. You were still in DC, and you called me, and we was on the phone for a long time. And I remember we had this discussion we're having now, and I said to you, Keisha, I said, "This is the place where me and you have to stay. I know what God needs me for in your life." And I'm not gonna cry. I don't want that other journey between us because it could end bad. But this journey is going to be forever.
That is true.
Keep it. I was going to have to stay in the spiritual position, you know what I mean? And I would never forsake something like that. You know what I mean? I was honored to be that person in your life at that moment in time. I've been there for a lot of people. And I've had somebody like that in my journey when I've had my time like that. It was my rock and my soldier. They sat through everything I needed to say, all the pain, you know what I mean? So I was honored that I could be there for somebody else, when they were going through.
So I have one more final question, then I'm going to segue into the dating of 2026. The final question. Someone comes up to you and they say, "Hey, Rico, I seen that girl you were with. They call her Kiwi.
Hmm.
Have you met her? How would you describe me to a man that's interested in either dating me or getting to know me? Or anyway, I say man because it's about dating, right? But or anyone. How would you describe me to someone when they ask you that question? Have you met her?
Yeah, I would say it's kind of like lighting firecrackers and holding it in your hand till they go off, or swallowing a bucket of nails, or just sitting out in the sun for 3 days and catching a sunburn without saying, "Look, no, no, no." Um,
This dude, oh my
I
god.
would I would say, listen, you you better step your game up because there's more underneath the surface. This is what you see on the outside. This is a spiritual vessel. You have to have leadership, because if you don't lead her, she's not going to follow you. She's okay with being led, but it has to be in a spiritual direction. And every man should take up that mantle with whoever he brings in his life anyway, because that's the position God has seated us in, to be that leader. You know what I mean? To be that institution of motivation that keep us on track spiritually with him. Because in a relationship, you can't really have one without God. You cannot. This stuff pulls on your spirit, and we're like batteries. The only thing that can recharge you, it certainly ain't something, in the outlet. You have to be recharged by the Spirit of God. Relationships pull on you. And that's what you pour out. You pour out what God's poured in. You know what I mean? People can't make you happy. They can help you stay happy.
Facts. I say that all the time. If you're not already happy internally, there is nothing I can do for you.
No.
We're only supposed to be the seasoning on the steak, but not the steak, if that makes sense. I
Yeah.
like I like how
Totally.
you said that. You know, she needs someone to lead her, because a lot of people would say that I come off very aggressive, I'm bullheaded, and all those things. Um, and maybe that's why I'm like still single, because I'm aggressive, I'm bullheaded, I don't have a filter, I'm very straightforward. So to hear you say that, it's refreshing, because I absolutely agree with you. The only way a man's going to find out is if he puts in the time, the effort, and the consistency. A lot of these men don't want to do that at all
Yeah.
whatsoever. So
I I know I can say this about you. You know the signs when you see it. And the reason you're holding that position, because like I've always told you, the places that, how can I say this without being offensive? Can I just say what I want to say?
yeah,
The places where you're fishing are not what I would call the best places to hunt. It really ain't. So you have a tendency to be like, I already know this ain't it. And you're okay with displaying that. You know that when it is there, you know how to turn it on. Right now, you have that gift to call it and be like, this ain't it. So I'm not even gonna put that next level in. This is a waste of time. You got your lesson already. You know what I mean? I believe when it hits, you're gonna know it and you're gonna turn it on. And you're gonna like, all right, I'm gonna let you lead. I see it. You know how I know?
how?
This is how I know. Because that's how main your interaction is. I'm the one voice that I know you trust when I say something. You very hard. There's few people that are in your life where I know you actually listen to, even when it's not what you want to hear.
True. That is
You
true.
know that voice when it's coming from me. Because I ain't never led you wrong. I've never led you wrong. I've never told you nothing that would harm you or take you in the wrong direction. And you always trusted.
Yeah. And I can say that, not that I have a problem with trusting. I don't let everybody in my circle. So when I allow you in my circle, then I it's a for life thing. You're not about to enter my circle and then and think that you're leaving. You're locked in. You know what I mean? And so it's
Oh
like,
yeah,
and that's why I give the option, like, are you sure? You know, because I am going to protect myself, my heart, my mind. I did a lot of healing mentally. And I think that you said something just now. You said I'm looking in the wrong, um, I guess, pond of trying to
yeah.
find somebody. But where's the pond at? Where are the good fishes? Because
See, don't do it. Don't pull me there, Keisha. I told
I'm
you.
pulling you there,
Okay.
because I am Rico. I am
You're gonna have time on this podcast for this answer.
But my whole thing is, and I'm not the only one that wants to know this. My sister Ashley wants to know. I know a lot of women that want to know it. There's a lot of men. I literally just had this conversation. Why is the game still out here with the manipulation and the thinking that, I'm a woman of action, not words. You could tell me whatever you want to tell, and if you're not backing it up with actions, I just don't understand why you're coming at me like that. But I'm being genuine. I really want to know, like, why is it everything cookie cutter? Like
I'm a,
go ahead.
I don't want to cut you off, but I'm gonna give it to you. I've spent 20 plus years trying to modify what I'm gonna say to you as fast as I can. If I can help you, this is the best way I can describe it. You're looking for a baseball player out on the football field.
Damn.
You're on the wrong field, and you don't like the other sport. You're not even attracted to it. You got to change your appetite to what you really need. You chasing, you chasing the flesh, and I don't want to get too spiritual, but most people are chasing a sensation. What you're looking for, you're not in that lane yet. You're not attracted to what you need, and it's somewhere else. And God is trying to prepare you for that, so you don't mess it up when you get there. So you can identify it. And people they're meeting these guys when it's a woman, and they're meeting these women when it's a guy, and they're saying, "What's wrong with all these women? You you in the wrong lane. You're afraid to be over where you need to be, and you're not even attracted to what you need, what you're asking God for. They don't possess the values. You want faithfulness. What do you think you can do to get a faithful man? You think you can put on a dress and some lipstick and make everything too tight? That man ain't looking for you. He's guarded and his radar is up, and you could wear the wrong thing and it says everything we need to know.
Mhm.
So they're avoiding you. They're like, she's not ready. But the people that seem like they are ready, they just thirsty. They looking for low hanging fruit, and that is what most of the world is going through. They haven't figured out. See, I accepted the call on my life, and I accepted what God gave me. He told me, this is what it is.
Yeah.
This is where it is. And don't take any other path. And it has to be a spiritual path. You have to be prepared. You've got to allow God to prepare you so you can identify with the team that you're looking for. Because right now, you don't fully know, and it takes time to know. And then there's a transition that has to happen in you. You have to become attracted to it. Because I'm going to tell you, when I went through it, it shocked me that I wasn't attracted to the right type of woman. So I had to get back in his class. I was like, oh my God, yeah. Like I like these bad girls. You know what I mean? I was attracted to that. It's this spiritual woman, and she's all prayed up and reading the Bible and quoting scriptures and praying in the morning and doing all the things that you really want to do to have a successful till death do us part relationship. Sad as it is to say, I wasn't I needed it. I knew where it was, but I wasn't ready for it, and I was avoiding. Now, I've wasted too much time, and I don't do it no more. I'll never do it again.
So, have you ever seen me in a healthy relationship? You've known me, you know.
No,
Damn.
no, not one man is worthy of the call that you've known. I know
Wow.
what it is.
Because
Not one of them.
you know all of them, and you're saying not one of them.
Not one of them. Somebody did said that to me years ago, and it blew my mind, and it messed with my head. She said, "This one ain't gonna make it, or your next one." I was like, "What? How did she know that?" Now I know how she knew.
I have been sitting over here on multiple shows talking about the love of my life. Yeah, I got quiet because I was waiting for you to say something.
No, I told you. I told you. You were telling me your interaction. That was all I needed to hear. Y'all messing. Y'all playing with fire. you're pulling out the inspiration of true love, and it's too much just y'all and not enough of God. You hear that ingredient?
Oh, yeah.
You hear that ingredient? That ingredient is always missing. And it's just like you taste your food and it's like it needs a little bit more salt. And when you don't have that salt, you got to have correction. You got to have self-examination. You gotta be driven above yourself. You gotta be able to surrender to the call of love and the voice of love. You gotta be able to do when you don't feel like doing, because you're not gonna do that for a man, and a man ain't really gonna do it for one, but you will do it for God. You gotta have a standard. You gotta have that S on your chest, just like Superman.
Yeah.
He's always Superman. Whether you like him, whether you don't like him, he stays in his position. He stays in his lane. He always answers the call, and that's how you have to be. But we up and down. Oh, really? Oh, you gonna say that? Then I'm gonna say something back. Oh, what? You're not gonna put? And then I ain't gonna put. This tit for tat and all that mess. That's
Yeah.
what that lane is. But when you get in the lane with somebody who you meet, like when a woman meets me, she don't know I'm already done. You don't have to fix me. I know how I know how to put myself. I know how to compromise, but I won't compromise my values.
Yes, that part. I got
Yeah,
you. So, are
I
you
know how to
finding
listen.
it difficult? Oh, you're talking about a mass majority of people in worldly desires, worldly flesh. If you don't look good, I'm not trying to holler, that kind of thing. So, from a man and your point of view and what you're looking for, your desire, the road that you were on, most not most traveled. So, it what is your obstacle? Are you finding it difficult
Right
today?
now, right now, my purpose is more important. So I already know where it is. Like you know where the steaks are. You know where a good burger is. You know where the good pizza. I already know where it is. I already know what to do. But my focus right now is just not on that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the only reason I haven't quite jumped on that hunt right now, because I don't have the level of focus that I really need for that. Right now, I got so much going on in my life right now. This person would feel in the background because it's taking so much of my time. But when I'm ready, I'm going to be 100% available. But one of the things I'm going to tell you that I would, I'm going to share this with women. Watch how you dress. Watch how you dress. We don't want it tight. I'm talking the right man. Listen to me when I'm telling you, because we, we're not looking for fleshly sensation. Like, oh man, that looks good. Most of us don't. I don't even want to go back down that road. I don't want to be turned on by the flesh. And like I always told you, what's between your legs is not enough for me.
Yeah.
That don't do it for this type of man. That don't do it. So
Yeah.
when you're sexually provocative and your stuff is too tight and all that, we're saying to ourselves, "Is that my wife? Is this her? This is her presentation to the
Damn.
world?"
Mm.
And it's a hard word because so many women feel this is me being beautiful. You know what I mean? It's saying you're speaking too loud without saying anything, but it's saying so much to the right person. It's saying, avoid this, avoid this. We are avoiding women who their appearance is too sexual. We don't want it.
Mm.
You've already failed right there. Because guess what? This is what our higher authority is teaching us and has taught us and has bred us to know the difference and how to discern not just the flesh, but the spiritual, because you need that. You have to have it. You have to have it. Everybody who's constantly confused and running around, that's the one thing they're avoiding. They're avoiding the spiritual side. They're avoiding God, because that's who you're looking for. You're looking for the God within them, because
Yes.
he controls the dispensation of love in the heart of a
Interesting.
man and a woman.
So I'm going to end this by asking another hard question. Ooh, I'm kind of nervous because I think I already know the answer to it. But before I ask the question, I just want to say thank you for taking the time and having this interview with me. It was very I am going to do some self-reflecting after this call, and that's the truth about it because you said some very interesting points, and I can't wait to post it so other women can actually have this because we're sitting over here like, what's wrong, and we're thinking it's the man, and it's actually probably us. So here's the question. I'm nervous. Am I ready to date, and is that man ready for me?
Keisha,
That's a 2 point, like, am I ready to date, and is he ready for me?
can I answer in a
Honestly.
way? Let me just say this.
Mhm.
This is okay to have one priority, and that's to seek the face of God and to be more like Him.
Was that
If you're
my
doing that,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
if you're doing that, you're on the right track.
Okay.
That's the Bible says, "Seek ye first the kingdom, and the rest shall be added." That's both male and female. Because when you get to Him, He's going to tell you that I placed Him at the head, and He's going to position you. And then you're going to realize more so than, oh, I ain't going to have no man telling me what to do. No, you're following what God told you to do. So I say all that to say this. If you can examine yourself and go look in that mirror and honestly say to yourself, how much God is in me and how much am I following His voice?
Mhm.
That is where you want to start on that path right there. Because if I just say no, you know what I mean, then it's missing something and it could just sound a little flat, and I want to put it in a perspective that helps you understand why it's a no if it's a no, and let you judge yourself versus me saying no. Because you have to know what it is, what it looks like, and where it's at. And the only way you're going to get that information is you're going to get it from God. You trust me when I tell you. And He'll put the right people in your life to speak to you so that you can plainly understand. But most women out here, they're on the wrong path.
Hmm. And men, clearly,
Yeah.
because if I'm on this path, I don't see nobody on it. So it's like, okay, you know. Um
But
I think
why?
I come across a lot of men that I won't say are intimidated by me. I don't like to use that word because there's not only we only person we should be fearing is God, and that's it.
Keisha,
What?
where you see you trying to shut this down, and I'm telling you, this is not the talk that you want. Listen, where you meeting these men at? Don't make me ask you this question.
Oh no, it's fine. So some are online, some are out and about. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
maybe not the right
It's
social.
about time you
Maybe
kick
not
them out.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, Rico, like, and I get it because I'm asking a God fearing, God's head of it. But I think not, even though I am a spiritual woman, I pray and all the things, right? I don't live, you know, most people would judge me. They're like, wait, you believe in God and you talk like that and, and all the things, right? But I'm also human and, I make mistakes and all the things. And I do have my moments where I get lonely and it just goes along with what you were saying earlier, you know? So,
Yeah.
um, so like right now, I do want to be serious. I want to be in a committed. I want all those things, but just because I want it, you know, um, now may not really be the time. So I guess I'm going to answer the question for you since you didn't like he answered it, right? But he was just like,
I
yeah, of
really
course.
did.
Yeah,
I
you
think
did.
it's a better way.
Yeah.
Wait, I said it.
But I actually want you to now I got that version. Now I want you to answer it in a in the for the my subscribers, the people that not, I won't say don't believe in God, because I think everybody believes in God, and if you don't, something's wrong with you, right? But the ones that are that God is not the forefront, I need you to dumb it down, you know, because you went real deep, and I appreciate that, but I also need you to dumb it down. Am I ready to date, and is he ready for me? Dumb it down.
Why are you doing this? No, you're not ready.
Damn.
You're
Okay.
not ready. And see, you want me to leave it on the table like that?
No, no, no. Because you're telling me, but I also know exactly what your initial answer with that entailed, right?
Well, let me add something to it. All right, from my perspective, okay. I've had a lot of women, Keisha, that would do anything for them. I'm sorry, anything for me. Cook for me, clean for me, wash my clothes, anything that I ask. I mean, I'm talking fanatics. I've been rich, I've been famous. Like, I've been in that lane for a long time. And those women weren't ready.
You know
Why?
why?
Because
Because they were
the one,
worshiping you, not God, of course.
the element that I need somebody who is focused on God. Because I've tested the chain. I've tested the structures. I've tested every foundation. And the only one that's solid are the ones who are already in his hands, who are already walking and seeking him. They'll cut you quick. Them women will be like, we can't have that in here. This is till death do us part. And the father's told me how to do it and what to do. And I'm going to follow that. And I need a man. They're looking for a godly leader. They're listening for the voice of God within their soul because he's put his Holy Spirit in us. So they're looking for him in
Mhm.
us. You're looking for him in some, like, so it's not so much as perfection because we're going to fall, we're going to make mistakes, but you need God to be at the head of that
Understood.
institution. He has to be there. And you might say, oh, those are for all the Christians over there. Well, you know what? Guess what? When it comes down to when this is all over, and he comes back and saying, guess who's going to be all the Christians?
Well, you know why I have a problem with that, right?
That's a thing.
Okay. So, being
You
baptized
think you're
in
going
the
to
water
walk
with.
in the church
Mm,
and you're going to be like, he's in the church, he's a Christian man, and but they doing stuff too, and they falling too, and they nasty too, and they cussing too. See, listen, that's my point. You got to have discernment. That's a gift from God. You got to know when you're in there what level of Christian you're dealing with. That's all that is. There's some people who just got there. He's been working on you for 20 years and you've been working on them for 5 days. And you say, well, he's in church. So that's not what I'm saying. When he prepares you, focus on you, and he's going to lead you to what he wants to give you. He's preparing you. And not just for that, man, but for the next level of your success, for the next level of your blessing. God is preparing you for it and it for you. You will know when it's it.
he said, y'all, you heard that. He said, I will know. Rico, I appreciate you taking the time. That was some deep, and I wanted it. I did. I asked for it. So be careful what you ask, because they will answer the
Yep.
question, that kind of thing. But no, I want to say thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you.
You so welcome, darling. And God bless you.
Before we wrap up, I want to say thank you, Rico, for blessing us with this great conversation today. This episode was bigger than just entertainment or telling a story. It was about growth, purpose, and discipline, pushing through regardless where life starts you. If there's one thing I want y'all to remember, it's this: stop waiting for that perfect moment. Most breakthroughs happen after you decide to move, not before. So here's your assignment. Your assignment. Take one thing you've been putting off, just one. One goal, one dream, one hard conversation, one business move, one personal change. Do that within the next 48 hours. Take that one action. One step can change your whole direction. And remember, consistency will take you places excuses never can. Before you go, do me one little favor. Stop and smile at somebody today. Why? Because smiles are contagious, and you never know. Somebody might just need that little bit of energy to get through the rest of their day. And remember, it actually helps you feel better about yourself as well. So until next time, stay focused, stay motivated, and keep showing up for
If you
yourself.
had the chance, would you keep me?